Hello, welcome to Right Decisions. I'm Tammy Moore Johnson. It is indeed my pleasure to come to your homes weekly with a show that's created to provide tools for success. Do you consider yourself a leader? You may not be a CEO, president, manager of a bank, or a pastor, but you may be a mom, dad, older sibling, or a quarterback. The list can go on and on. Leadership comes in different forms, but how does one rise to the occasion when given the opportunity to lead? Today, we're discussing one of my favorite subjects, leadership. We're discussing leadership in action. I'm so delighted to have school leadership expert Principal Kafele as my guest to discuss this topic, as well as to talk about the School Leadership Institute. Principal Kafele led the transformation of four different schools, including Newark Tech High School, which went from a low performing school in need of improvement to recognition by US News and World Report as one of America's best high schools. Principal Kafele is the author of 10 books, including his 6 ASCD bestsellers. Some of them include Closing the Attitude Gap, Motivating Black Males to Achieve This in School and Life, The Principal 50, The Teacher 50. He is the recipient of more than 100 educational, professional, and community awards, which include the prestigious Milken National Educator Award in 2009. It is my honor to have Principal Kafele on the show today, as well as to partner with him with our annual School Leadership Institute that is held every July. Welcome to Right Decision, Principal Kafele.
Thank you. Thank you. Great to be here.
Awesome, awesome. Listen, I owe you another congratulations. I'm told you just won the Global Guru in Education Award. Huh? And this is your second time. This is the second year, right?
Second time. It's a big
Yeah, this
time
is,
award. Yeah.
hey, there's some top people on that list. I am so honored to be a part to partner with you.
I
This
was
is
honored
so
to be on the list with them.
uh, you're so humble, humble. You do so much. You are such a true leader, and I am delighted that we're gonna just sew in some people today about leadership. Appreciate it, appreciate it. So let's get started with. Let's just talk about. There's so many definitions about leadership. You hear that, but what is leadership? What do you say leadership is?
I think about the definition of leadership all the time, probably on a daily basis, because I talk to leaders on a regular basis. And there's several different definitions that I have in my head, but I went to the when I was just going through my own professional development, I went to this Naval Academy. And this definition that they gave just kind of stayed with me forever. And
Mm-hmm.
it's going back to like 2002 or three. And they said to us, it was this cohort we had, and they said, leadership is simply reaching objectives through other people.
Yes.
And that just stayed with me because that's really what it is. Because when you think about an individual that may try to do it all, have all your
Yes.
both hands, both feet into everything, that's not leadership. You got sharp, talented people. And therefore the objective is to obviously meet that objective, but through these talented people that you have around you.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that. You using your personnel basically. The one of the definitions that I liked, and I've heard this from, he's another guru like you, John Maxwell, a leadership guru. What he says is influence, and that's exactly what you're saying. So you're influencing others to reach the objectives of the goals that you have.
Yeah,
So he says leadership is just influence.
that's it.
Yeah.
Because I can't make somebody be great, or I can't make somebody maximize their potential, but I can influence it. I can encourage it.
Yes.
I can inspire it,
Yes.
but I can't demand it. Right. So that's,
Yes.
and when it comes down to me demanding, then I'm not leading, I'm managing people. And there's
That's right.
grave differences between being a leader and a manager. Managerial skill may be necessary within it, but ultimately, when we talk about the people, you got to lead them.
Don't you think? Well, let me ask you. I'm gonna speak in general because in my experience, People get into these leadership positions, but it's very rare for them to be true leaders.
Yeah.
To me, they're more managers, because as you just said, you can't demand anyone to do it. Now some people use what, of course, their positional power, right? So you have the title, you have that. I may be the like in your case, you were a principal for a long time. Oh my gosh. And did you have great influence everywhere you go? You're blessing people, you inspire them, you're inspiring so many right now and helping them become better leaders. It's amazing, but we're gonna get to that. I'm just, again, people just don't know the gift that you have of leadership. But unfortunately, some people get in positions and they think it's all about the position and not about the, I'm here to support. I'm supporting these people reaching their goals, and I'm influencing them to meet other goals. I'm influencing them to be the best that they are. Talk about that just a little bit.
Yeah. Well, see, you're talking about servant leadership.
Yes.
As a servant leader, then I'm here to serve you, right?
Mhm.
So now I'm in a position where I've got these folks, and I want to bring out the best, the very best that they have in them. But that's me in the capacity of servant, right?
Yes.
As
Yes.
opposed to somebody again dropping the hammer, demanding. But I say to folks all the time, because I meet with a lot of aspiring leaders in the
Yes.
various just forms of work that I do. And I
Mhm.
say to them, although I'm working with you, I want you to understand something. Leadership is not for everybody, right?
That's
It's not.
deep.
Some of us are not meant to lead. It's like, you meet that assistant principal, for example, that says, no, I'm not an aspiring principal because I understand my lane. I'm a great assistant to a principal, but I cannot assume that other position of being number one. That person understands that number one is not meant for that individual. Doesn't mean that individual won't shine as a leader, but in terms of his or her thinking, I'm better as an assistant serving the leader, right? So everybody's
Absolutely.
not meant to do this, because I will take it to my grave that leaders are not born, they're made.
Mhm.
We know that there are individuals that have certain leadership traits, right?
Yes, yes, yes,
but
yes.
but those traits are not the totality of
That's
leadership,
it. That's it.
right? It's just that they have a certain charisma to them. They have there's a certain aura to them, but there's so many intricacies
Mhm.
to leadership that they have to learn in order to lead at a high level.
I must interject at this point because you said something that I just found out like literally a month ago, because it's been a long debate about whether leaders are born or are they developed or made. That's like a lifetime debate. Well, there's some research out there that says, oh yeah, there's this what you just said. There's a trait. There's actually a DNA, but that they still need to be developed just like other leaders can be developed too. So you know what, you just summed it up so nicely, what I just found in research. That's so awesome. That's so awesome.
I
So
appreciate that.
yeah, that is awesome.
So
So
let me just throw this in
yeah.
here. Think about in the school, in terms of school leadership. Think about that principal that's born with that trait of leadership, that
Yes.
DNA, that I'm a leader. But that doesn't translate into knowing how to be an instructional leader, someone that moves the
That's
academic
good.
needle, right? You still have to learn that just like anybody else, right? So,
Hmm.
or that person that does not have that DNA, but may understand that instructional side to leadership and may be very proficient at it. And now we can develop this person into this extraordinary instructional leader at the building level in terms of school.
Yes, and do you think that's the same in other sectors too, such as in a business or a church or what have you, that they assume the position, they may have some traits as leader, but they still need to develop to be able to really grasp and know how to develop those people?
That's right. Absolutely. I mean, it's transferable. It's the same dynamic. You may have a certain affinity for leadership, but you still got to be trained within that specific
Mm, I love it. I love it.
leading. Yeah.
So, how does one rise to the occasion when given the opportunity to lead? And then let's talk about, let's just say it might be a teenager watching this show today. Okay. And this teenager is given the position of quarterback or I can't even think what it is on the basketball team now. But anyway,
Point
point
guard. Yeah.
guard. Is it point
Yeah.
guard?
Yep.
Your leader. Okay.
Yeah.
So what they've been given, how do they rise to that? They got the opportunity. So how do they get to that?
You know, it's a very interesting question, because if one is going to be the quarterback of a football team, or the point guard of a basketball team,
Mm-hmm.
it's not just the leadership. There's a specific skill set to those two positions.
Hmm.
And so as a quarterback, in terms of what a quarterback does, right? And you know, that's a whole conversation there. But in terms of what a quarterback does, if that person is thrust into that role of quarterback, but you don't have the skill set to be
Mm.
quarterback. So you may have the leadership capacity,
Mm-hmm.
but that's not going to carry you if you don't have that skill set to lead on the football
Right.
field.
Right.
As a point guard, you got two guards on a basketball court. You got the shooting guard and you got the point guard. They're two very different positions. So if I'm a shooting guard and I'm one that normally shoots the ball, but then the coach said, I want you to run the offense. I want you to be the quarterback of the basketball court. I want you to be the point guard. If that person doesn't have the skill set to transition into that new position, that person cannot be successful immediately, because they have to learn the different role, the different capacity. So
Mm.
it goes right to your question in terms of rising to the occasion. So if someone decides, I see you in this position, okay, fine, but you can't put this person in this new capacity, and you
Mm.
haven't given this person the foundation, the training to stand
Yes.
upon. Because see, one could be and I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to get heavy into sports, because a lot of people may not even keep up with sports. But if one is a star receiver, the one that catches the ball, for someone listening, watching,
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't know what that means when I say receiver, you're a star receiver. I mean, you're all star. You're ready for the Hall of Fame as one who catches the ball, runs with the ball, and scores a touchdown. And now we say, you're so good at this.
Mm.
We want you to be the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to happen unless that
Mm.
person has prior background in being a quarterback, some kind of
Right.
skill
Right.
set
Right.
in being
Yeah.
a quarterback. That person's not prepared for that position, even though that person exhibited leadership in the other capacity.
Well said. Well said. So I think that's why it's crucial to have mentors, or when
Yeah,
people are in those positions, that you set them up to succeed. A person sets them up, an organization sets them up to succeed.
that's right.
So because the fact they are new in it, like you just said, and I love it. I think sports is just foundational for any great example, for any avenue, any area, that you take a person that's given an opportunity, is new in a leadership position, you're there to support them to succeed. So
Yeah,
you give them mentors. And when I do a lot of research, what I found, that is so critical, to have mentors.
that's right.
um, One of the Let me ask you about your experience, like when you became, I mean, you've done so much in your career. Who helped you along the way to become the leader that you are?
You know, now when you say leader, school leader or speaker leader?
Both.
Okay,
Because
school
you are,
leader.
I mean, I can't separate, because I think that all is who you are, and it just, yeah, so both, yeah.
Let me go to the speaker side first. On the speaker side,
Okay.
I literally had to figure it out. I admired people from afar, you know, whether it be political leadership, social activist leadership, your Dr. Kings of the world, your Malcolm X's of the world, all the way to your Les Browns of the world, your Zig Ziglars of
Mm.
the world, and,
Mhm.
and everybody in between. So I really admired these motivational speakers, but I really admired these activist speakers. So, but I had to find Baruti Kafele.
Mhm.
So, but I didn't have those professional speakers that I could call on and say, you know, can you show me, teach me the ropes? I didn't have it. I literally
Right.
had to figure it out. I had to figure out the author side. I had to figure out the getting engagement side. I had to figure out the speaking style. You know, all of that stuff. I had to figure it out. So I didn't have anybody. Now I happen to be a mentor to many now, but I
Mhm.
didn't have that mentor for me.
Mhm.
But on the school leadership side, I had a mentor. I had my who became my boss. He was my mentor during my internship while I was in grad school. His name was Dr. Kenneth King. So he taught me the ropes. He particularly taught me the management side, though, more than he did the leadership side, which was necessary. But he taught me the ropes, and then he became my boss when I became a principal. So I became an assistant principal. He wasn't my boss then; the principal was. But then,
Mm.
as a principal, literally the next year, because I was only an AP for 1 year, then he became my direct supervisor. So he was still that mentor slash supervisor during that period until I moved on to another district.
So you were an assistant principal for 1 year and then became a principal?
Yeah, and see,
That
once again,
that
even
says a
though,
lot. That
yeah,
says a
it
lot.
is, and
Yeah.
even though he taught me things, once again, just like the speaker side, I had to figure it out, because
Yes,
I
absolutely.
learned absolutely nothing as an AP except for discipline, so I had to literally teach myself what it is to be a principal. I didn't have colleagues to lean on because they're not in the building, and
Absolutely.
yeah, so I had to figure it out. The beauty is, just going full circle, I got the leadership academy I do on Saturdays, and I'm mentoring folks from afar and
Yes.
just teaching them what it is to be an assistant principal toward transitioning into a principalship. And a lot of people, this week is National Assistant Principals Week, and I had hundreds of people. I posted that it's that week, and I had
Mhm.
hundreds of people write me back on my thread on social media saying, and just thank you for being that mentor for me. You know,
Absolutely.
so yeah, so that makes me feel like my work is not in vain.
Yeah, and I think that we talked about sometimes that is people have those traits. I think that you're just a developer at heart. I mean, I've known you now. Oh gosh, maybe what 7, 8 years. I think that I've seen you. I see how you want to be there for people. You are there for them. I mean, there's nothing you wouldn't give to help people develop, and that's what a leader is about.
Yeah,
And I think sometimes people, like I said before, just get it backwards. It's not about, oh, the power, because it is a powerful position because you have that influence. You're influencing others. And in this case, you're influencing others to be better people. You influence them to be a better principals because you do a lot with principals at different districts, different schools throughout the nation, internationally.
yeah,
With our School Leadership Institute that we do every summer, boy, we hit the mark across. Now let's talk about that a little bit
yeah.
because we started this back in gosh 2018, and we were in Virginia first. So we were doing the face to face until COVID hit, right? But as we start to do this, we have made people come internationally to come to our institute. But I think the second year we were in Florida and we had someone to come from internationally.
That's right.
Even last year when it was virtual, we had some people to actually come there. So this year we're even looking for that more so impact. Y'all come and hear how this particular institute is designed for the principal, designed for the assistant principal in mind. It's going to help you get to the next mark. Uh, Principal Kafele, tell people, because you do a lot of speaking, you do a lot for school districts. Tell us how the School Leadership Institute is going to be different for
Yeah,
than what you do, because you do the academy on Saturdays for APs and people been jumping in on that. I mean, you're just so well known all across like I said, internationally. How is this going to benefit them differently from what they've heard you? Because you got a lot of stuff out there.
yeah. Because here's the difference between that and everything else. With the School Leadership Institute that we do over the summer, we get to be interactive at a much higher level than I can be when I'm on the road. Because when I'm on the road, there's a lot of people who just don't want to talk.
Mm-hmm.
They're hearing, they're engaged, but they don't necessarily want to interact with me. They'll interact with people in a group, right? But I may not necessarily get that feedback back to me within that setting. Whereas with the School Leadership Institute, it's very rare that there are shy people in the room. Like they may be shy in the first few minutes that we got there because it's new to everybody. No one knows one another. But once they start within a breakout group, and they start feeling comfortable and feeling loose, then people can kind of loosen up and now express themselves about whatever. Because see, when I'm on the road, I'm delivering pretty much a canned presentation.
Mm.
When I'm doing the School Leadership Institute, then I can just kind of flow with wherever the questioning, the comments, the concerns, whatever they are, wherever they're going, I can go with them and be specific to whatever their needs are within their district. So that's what really what makes it very different. And then I get to talk with people before the sessions,
Yes.
lunchtime, after session, and we usually when we get back on the road, we're there 2 days. I see folks at night. I may see
Mhm.
them in the gym, may see them at dinner, and we get to talk. So that's it personalizes the learning, the camaraderie, the discussions. It's just a great thing that we put together.
Yes, yes, it's awesome, and I love being able to see the network, as you say, when we are face to face.
Yeah,
Of course, this year it's going to be virtual,
yeah,
but and if you're catching this video, if you're catching this show, and it's after this particular year, of course, we're going to be doing this every year. So just search for the School Leadership Institute with Principal Baruti Kafele, and you'll
right,
be able to find us. So and then this year it's done at a time because like I said, we've had people from all over who want to join. So it would be from 12:30 to 3:30 on July 13th and 14th. And it would be for virtually for 3 hours each of those days. When we're in person, it's a full day. It's a full
okay,
6 hours. Yeah, it is. And then we have lunch. Yeah, so it's really really nice, and I love the network. I love the just to being able to, so like you said before, when assistant principal is the only one in that building, but again, the principals, they're the only one in the building too, and they do have that bond with other principals in their school division or district. But when you come here, you're talking to people throughout the United States.
yeah,
So
yeah,
you get to really, really get to find out, okay, so we're not in this alone. We have this. And it's very personalized. It's very personalized. So I appreciate that. So let me go.
absolutely.
Yeah, so let me go back to your particular experience too, because like I said, I've seen you sow so much into people. We're on this virtual call. We're on the virtual Zoom for our institute. People don't want to take a break. I mean, we try to do a break, and like they want you to keep going because you give so much energy. It's like 2 hours, and you're like, guys, I gotta give you a break.
Right.
so so I mean, people just don't know. It's just that just to have someone, and first of all, I just really think it's a natural gift of yours, not to be the leader, but also how you inspire people, how you share your stories, how you just let them know, hey, this is how you do it.
Yeah,
And they feel it. Sometimes someone can just tell you, okay, do this as a checklist, but when it's coming from the heart, it's hitting people in the heart, and
yeah,
they receive that.
that's right. That's right. And see, that's a different kind of presenter when you can still give them the information required, but you can bring the passion
Yes.
along. And that's how I led schools as well. I always brought that energy, always brought that passion, because I want them to feel my desire for them to achieve at a high level, not just hear it from me, but I want them to feel it. That's staff, students, parents, community, everybody, all the stakeholders.
I love it. And you talk to parents too as well. Now, we're going to go back to the School Leadership Institute because we really, really want our principals and our sister principals to sign up for this.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, for this
And
upcoming year,
aspiring school leaders as well.
aspiring school leaders
Yeah,
too. Yes, absolutely. Because the aspiring principals, the ones who want to go into administration, you get a heads up with what principals are actually interacting and getting and dealing with. Now, this past year has been a very different year, unprecedented year, as they say,
yeah.
for everyone. And I know you tied that in when they come to the School Leadership Institute. What are some of the things that they can expect to get?
Yeah, there's a topic that I used last year that I use often, but I never exhaust it because you can't exhaust this topic. It's called "Is my school a better school because I lead it?" That's an
Mhm.
infinite topic. I've never delivered. There's a presentation I put together for it, but I've never covered all of it anywhere, and that's including working with schools, say 3 times, and still never exhausted it because there's so much there in terms of that question as the foundation. Is my school, and it's always, self-reflective with the mirror. Is my school a better school because
Mm,
I'm here? See,
hmm.
so now what spawns out of that is just a wealth of conversation in terms of your leadership identity, your leadership presence, your leadership impact, your leadership mission, your leadership purpose, your leadership vision, and your leadership value. So there's so much there, and it's really, again, it's an infinite discussion in terms of reaching this bottom line. Do I matter? Does my presence in this school make a difference for the lives of the children and staff that I lead? Right. So we're going to deal with that,
Mm.
but also dealing with pandemic and place another area that's close to my heart is dealing with social justice issues, social justice
Oh,
education.
yes,
So
absolutely.
so
Yes.
equity and social justice education, those are just extremely necessary aspects of leadership. As I always say to leaders and teachers, I said, you can't draw a line of demarcation between the world outside
Mhm.
and the world inside, meaning the classroom. Because when that youngster comes into the classroom, that youngster is a product of that world. So that youngster's bringing that world into the classroom. You can't have a mindset that we're preparing youngster for the real world. No, that youngster has brought the real world into that classroom.
Absolutely.
Teacher, are you equipped to be able to connect with that youngster's real world? Leader, are you equipped? Do you have the skill set? Do you have the mindset to connect with that youngster's real world? Not a world you preparing youngster for, the world that youngster, the only world that youngster knows right now.
Everybody can develop leadership. We talked about that too. So, and I believe it starts with themselves first. You have to lead before you can lead others. You got to lead other people. You have to lead yourself. You got to be disciplined. You got to do, you have to lead yourself. One final, let's say about 5 seconds, one final note here. Principal Kafele, you got a final word?
Oh, a final word for me.
Yeah,
For
5 seconds now.
just don't stop believing in your ability to maximize your leadership potential.
Through our discussion today, it has been our objective to provide key components about leadership. True leadership is much more than authority and recognition from the outside world. Leadership is about developing people and helping others reach their full potential. It's about equipping others with the right tools and strategies, not only to maximize the success of an organization, but also the lives of individuals. And that is what we do here at Right Decisions. Right Decisions produces positive shows and seminars that are designed to give tools and strategies for a successful life. Be sure to go to my website, Right Decision with Tammy Moore Johnson, and look for our upcoming leadership classes. As we talked about, we offer a school leadership institute every year for principals and assistant principals. If you are in school leadership, or you thinking about joining being in school leadership, you don't want to miss our annual summer institute designed with your position in mind. We also offer leadership classes for the pastors and the business sector. Again, just go to my website for more information. Leadership comes in many forms. Remember, you're the head, not the tail, above only and not beneath. That purpose that God created you to do, go forth and do it. Use your God given talents and leadership skills to get it done. Thank you for tuning in to Right Decisions, a show of a positive message. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you next Sunday. Goodbye for now.